Morning all, welcome back to another episode of the Canary Room. Very special episode today. I look like I'm in fancy dress. I've crossed the Lancashire border from the Red Rose County into the White Rose County. I am in the land of flat caps. I'm in Yorkshire, just outside Sheffield for the YCC, the Yorkshire Canary Club Show. Delighted to come here today, so we're going to catch hopefully a little bit of the judging. We'll catch up with some of the exhibitors, and we'll see all of the best birds, and we'll see some old friends as well, I'm sure. So we got here, we went over the Woodhead Pass, which is always fun when it's not snowing, and I'm really looking forward to the show today. So you know what to do, grab yourself a cuppa, sit back and enjoy the show. It's a new face for the Canary Room. It's not a new face for me because we're joined by Barry Mills, who is president of the Yorkshire Canary Club. Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
Indeed, I've got that right. I've got the first thing right. And you've had the honour and pleasure today of judging these fine specimens of birds.
Indeed, yes. It's been a real pleasure today. Excuse me. The last time I did this was, many years ago, probably about 20 years ago, when I first judged at the YCC. So it's been nice to come back and to repeat the pleasure. And I have to say, this time around, it was much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand either, Barry. The sort of, it's a great honour judging shows, but with it comes a great responsibility and often a great pressure, because you want to ensure, with everything that you've got, that it's the best birds, the best 7 birds that are will end up behind us on the staging.
That's right, and you're always conscious. Doesn't matter how confident you are in your decisions, you're always conscious that when you walk down the staging afterwards, you'll see some belting birds.
Yeah.
And people will be saying, how did he miss that?
Yeah.
And the answer is, it's very easy. You judge the birds as they're in front of you, and what may look a wonderful bird back on the staging, clearly at the time you were judging, didn't do its thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, but I'm hopeful that today people will be happy with what the 2 judges have selected.
Yeah, I think as a fellow judge myself, Barry, I think we console ourselves with that. At the end of the day, only one person will be content with our decision, and that's the person who wins the show.
Absolutely.
But I think we've got a fair amount of footage, both from sort of near and far, of you sort of judging, and it's my first Yorkie show, and it's I mean they are stunning specimens of birds, and with obviously with the 3 perches in there, and you want them up on that top perch, don't you, displaying themselves,
right.
and I saw you and your colleague judge, you're having to work some of them a little bit just to get them up there to show themselves, but as you rightly say, you judge them as they're there, and we've all done the walk back past the staging and thought,
maybe not. No. The key thing with the Yorkies is, I'm not sure about other varieties, but the key thing with Yorkies is give them time. You've got to get them onto the bench and then give them time. Because although they're meant to stand there fearless and so on, they're in a strange room, they've been next to birds they've never seen before, they're handled by people they've never met, they're put onto the staging, hopefully gently, but they have to cope with that, then get themselves together, look left and right and see who's next to me now, and then this guy comes up and starts to just wave at them and move them gently, and they're having to think, well, do I like this or don't I? And they have to get themselves together, and they haven't got long.
No.
They've maybe a couple of minutes just so that you see them in the right position, doing the right thing. It's a hell of a thing to ask of a bird to do that. But most of our Yorkies can come to that standard, and a lot did today. Some don't. Some throw their feathers out, and no matter what you do, they're going down for the seed, and they won't come up. But you have to work at them. But the key thing is time. You must give them time, I think.
Yeah, no. I think one of the things that was noticeable, I've been in the show hall for an hour and a half or so now, was just that, and the allowance of time to give the bird the opportunity to show its full potential. Yes. And it's one of those things, isn't it? There isn't an infinite amount of time, because it's a single show, so there is a responsibility on the fancier, and there's also a responsibility on the bird to perform. But as you say, it's an unnatural environment, although it's a wonderful environment here. I think as we look at the show, it strikes me, and we see the chaps behind us just putting the first 7 up, and there is a small collection of family silver behind us. I think, Barry, I wouldn't want to be polishing those trophies at any stage.
That's our trophy steward, Trevor Hardacre, who's done that job for, I wouldn't say how many years, many years he's been doing it, and every year he gets them out and polishes them up. One of the things that's a bit disappointing has been in recent years, and I'm sure it's not just in the Yorkshire Fancy, all those wonderful trophies and how few of them are taken away at the end and brought back. People are happy to hold them and say,
for the
I
photo.
won that, but I'll leave it to the trophy steward. That's life, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it is. If it was me, I'd be taking them home. I'd have them on the mantelpiece. But it never will be me. I think one of the things, there's so many things that have fascinated me about the show today. It's the first show I've been where there are tablecloths on the staging, Barry, which is in itself, in itself is something fantastic.
Touch of class. We like to do things right here. It's some people think it's maybe a wee bit morbid that it's all black, but that shows the birds off. There's nothing to distract you from the birds, no floral patterns or anything of that sort, and it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, it's really, really, really smart. Well, listen, it's good to see you again. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And, let's have a look now. We'll have a little look behind us as the birds are being staged. And you can look at them, and they all look like the ones you put and they selected, don't they?
They're all the ones I chose, of course. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, Barry. Cheers. Bye. We've met Barry, and this is Barry's colleague, who's Robin Harwood. That's right, Robin, isn't it? Harworth. Sorry, I've got his name wrong. I always do that. My apologies, Robin. The other half of the judging duo today. Barry was saying it sometimes since he's had the pleasure of judging the YCC. Is it a similar situation for yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever judged it.
Wow. So a first for you, fantastic.
Yeah.
And how have you found it today in terms of the overall quality?
Yeah, there's some quite good birds. A lot of them haven't finished off properly yet, which is a shame because in a few weeks' time, if we have a few frosts, they harden up a bit and the feather looks tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks much better.
Yeah, it's a strange situation, that, isn't it? We're at the end of November, and we're still talking about we haven't had a hard frost yet.
No, it's still been very mild, hasn't it?
It has indeed. Well, we can see behind us the winning birds, and they're all there now in position. They look in fine form, and there's a commonality amongst them as well, which is always good to see. I don't think I've ever confessed this to Bri, so it's confession time from me here. So Brian and I were both members of now. Unfortunately, the club is no longer with us. It was the old Liverpool Old Swan Cage Bird Society,
I remember it well.
And we were both members of it, and it had its show in a variety of different locations. And Brian very kindly roped me in to be show secretary, which at the time I thought was an incredible honour, and I was delighted about. What I didn't realise was nobody wants to be show secretary in a club.
But Matt, you did it so well.
You see, he's still got the gift of the gab. But one of the things I haven't told Brian ever is when I first met Brian, I was in absolute awe of him, because this gentleman here was writing in Cage Birds. I was reading his column every week. He was doing lots of things in the fancy. He had these vicious birds in his bird room. I remember going to see his bird room, and they would bite you through the wire, and they of course were the Yorkshire Canary. And over the years, I've been fortunate enough to call Bri a mate. Now, he rips me mercilessly because Brian tells me that I don't have proper canaries. He tells me I have feeders.
Flying mice.
Yeah. This is the respect between us. But actually, as an individual...
there is a lot of respect between us.
There is.
Because I appreciate what you're doing for the hobby as a whole. It's not just the fifes and with your bird room show, but canary room. It's fantastic.
Oh, bless you. I didn't set him up for that, but what I will say is Brian is one of the nicest guys that you will ever meet. Now, don't tell anyone that, because, he's got a reputation for being a bit...
I hardly believe it myself.
Yeah, he's got a reputation for being a bit dour. But for me, Brian is everything that is good about this fancy, because he does the work. So he's here as interim chairman, acting chair of the YCC.
Well, no, I'm
standing chair, full chair.
Yeah, we've had a change of management, if you like. So I'm holding the bridge just for the year, so that Russell, who's only new into the fancy, can get to know more people, get to learn more about the club, and he's doing a great job already. So he'll be taking over. This hall is a result of Russell and I coming together and finding a new location. We were in Saltaire for years, became totally unaffordable, and no longer a practical show hall for us either, because we've got ageing fanciers. It means lots of stairs, it means no local car parking. It's a dark, dismal building, beautiful building. But do you want to pay £2,000 to hire it for a day? No thanks.
No.
So we're here.
Yeah.
And it's a great location.
Oh, it's a stunning location, and we can see out the window that we can see the fields around us. It is a really beautiful location. Well lit hall, which is what you want.
Absolutely. And how many show halls have got Christmas trees?
No, indeed, and parking that you can actually get into. So it's win-win all the way round, Brian.
Perfect.
Now, one of the things that fascinated me, and I had a little chat with Barry about this as well, was the staging of the birds. And I said to Barry, and I'll say the same to you, it's the first show I've ever been to where there are tablecloths on the staging, and Barry was explaining that the way that the birds are staged, with the classes very clearly visible, the black tablecloths, so that actually there is no distraction from the birds. Black cages, black tablecloths.
Exactly right. And of course the Yorkshire is the gentleman of the fancy. Of course it needs a tablecloth.
Indeed, yeah. Of course it needs a tablecloth. Well, it's been an experience for me here today, and I think just over 300 birds entered, just under 300 benched.
Just under 300 benched, yeah. When you look at the last 3 or 4 years, we've had Brexit. That's taken 300 or more birds because we've no Irish birds.
Yeah.
We've got no overseas birds. And we were
Yeah.
very popular. Belgian fanciers were coming over. Some from further abroad. We've got a guy from Greece. It's a big journey for those people.
Yeah,
but
sure.
they come along, they were supporting the club, and they're really nice people as well. So we've lost all of that. We've lost fanciers, sadly,
Yeah.
through COVID. You know, and then if you look at the expense of travelling, and people are looking throughout the whole country, and we've got an ageing bird population, we've been badly hit.
Yeah.
So to stage a show like this as a first event in this hall is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'll hear many complaints. People, they'll all say, well, I like this bird, I like that bird, but they love the location, they love the fact that we're back here and we're doing something and positive.
Yeah.
And for our branch of the fancy.
And I think that's it, Brian. I think, there were always people who will stand from the sideline and mutter and tutter. The Waldorf and Statler effect, I call it. they sit there in their little towers, do nothing and complain a lot. You know who you are. And there are people who will get up at ridiculous times in the morning. Because am I right in thinking you only got into the hall this morning? Is that right?
We got in at 10 to 7 this morning, so we've set everything up. It's a popular venue, so we couldn't have, the beauty of having the night before.
Yeah.
Nor have we got it for tomorrow morning. We would normally have that. So it's a different show format. But we've proven that we can do it because it's been nice and calm and relaxed throughout the whole morning. We were ready for the judges an hour before they were ready.
Yeah.
That says it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, it's a stunning venue. And one of the things I'd say, and we will catch up with Bob and Steve. I've seen them both in their flat caps. I've taken mine off now, but we will catch up with them. One of the things with the Canary Room is that the episode that we did with Steve and Bob is one of the most popular, which is why I was only too happy. Well, I would, because Bri asked me and he's a mate. But why I was only too happy to come here because no, it's fine. Later in the pub, the Yorkshire is. It is a stunning bird, isn't it? It really is. It's a breeder's bird.
It is. It's a specialist bird, if you like. It has that character, and it stands up and it says, "Look at me, here I am," and it's proud. You see a lot of birds, and they're constantly moving. That's a totally different concept to our breeders. We want a bird that's steady. We want you to pick the cage up, tap the cage, and the bird to stand up, stand to attention. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
Good birds do that. It's bred in, but it's part of the character.
Yeah. No, and they genuinely are. There's not going to be any in the Canary Room anytime soon, though, Bri, because there's no room.
They're too big in those cages.
Yeah. The cages aren't big enough. Well, listen, it's always wonderful to see you.
Matt, you too.
I imagine
tonight that you're going to enjoy yourself. You can do a bit of filming if you like.
Yeah, no.
But
I think we'll leave the
camera.
camera.
Liberally oiled.
Yeah. Bri, as always, mate. Wonderful to see you.
Lovely to see you, Matt. Thank you very much for all you're doing.
Cheers. Behind every show, there is a team of people who do the hard graft, right? And what we've got on camera now is one of those team of people and his dad. So we've got John Hughes Jr. here, looking very attractive, and John Hughes, not so quite Jr. here, looking handsome and a bit like Peter Reid, don't you think? Don't you think your dad? Are you a blue? Are you? You're not, are you, John? No.
Oh, I had a bit of sense.
You had a bit of sense, yeah. But the John Hughes massive are here doing the things. Little John is pretending he can run a computer.
It's on the internet.
Yeah, he's playing solitaire on the computer. And Big John's just sitting off. Aren't you just enjoying it? You're just enjoying yourself. Well, I've known these lads. I was talking to Bri earlier on. I've known these lads since the old Swan days, which chaps is 20 years.
Is it that long?
It's 20 years. Yeah. And I had hair then. I know it's hard to believe. And John did as well. And John did. Well, chaps, I'm sure you've done a sterling job. I haven't heard anyone complaining about you, so...
You just do it behind that.
Is that... I'll keep the camera rolling and see if I can't find something. It's always good to see these two chaps here. Looking fine figures of men. Well done. I'm like a thorn between roses here. Now, I've got here Alex and I've got here Ivor Enza. Now, apparently, these two chaps are legends in the Yorkie world, aren't you, chaps?
Well, we've been around a long while.
Yeah, they've been around a long while. And this chap here by the side of me, who frankly scares the living bejesus out of me, to be honest, and I reckon I'm hard as nails. But he is the first ever individual to go from junior to panel judge.
To top, specialist show judging, yeah. I'm judging all over the world at the moment, so...
That's pretty damn impressive, mate.
Yeah, really happy with that, yeah.
You joined the Greece this year, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it all started...
Athens, didn't you?
I was 5-year-old when I first started.
Were you?
For me.
Learned from my granddad, and then I just sort of...
I tell you what, this is a family affair here.
It is.
When you said this was your granddad, I'm thinking, I want this fella's face cream. Because he doesn't look old enough to be your granddad. Does he, to be honest?
No.
What's the secret, Simon?
I don't know.
You're taking the same potion.
I don't know
as
what my secret is, but...
You're taking the same thing as the birds, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're taking all of that
Conditioned
protein and
seed
conditioned seed and everything else to keep you going, aren't you?
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, honest to God, brilliant. So you're enjoying it on the show bench?
Oh, yeah. We're gradually improving.
Yeah, good stuff.
Doing well, yeah. So
and you're enjoying the show, and that is some achievement, that, Alex. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Super stuff. Well, I haven't met these guys, and I've taken the mickey out of them mercilessly, which tells you what good characters they are. So, chaps, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
And
Thanks
you,
very
my
much
friend.
indeed.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you. This, I've only met Adam for the first time today. This is Adam Roper, and Adam's got best and second best novice, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So 2 on the first 7, which isn't bad going at all, mate. So, this is me with all my knowledge of Yorkshires here. It's a lovely looking bird.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, really, because I had a bit of an argument with my daughter at the first show of the season, whether to take it to a show or not. And I decided to leave it at home, and it's done. Out of my whole team, it's done the best so far out of the whole season.
So when did your daughter say take it?
No, my daughter said leave it at home. She likes another one. Yeah,
right,
so
okay.
I sort of listen to her sometimes.
Yeah, don't. There's my advice as a father: never listen to your daughters because they'll only get you in trouble, Adam. They'll only get you in trouble. Yeah. Now, lovely bird, and the bird in second as well. So both done well for you. Must be delighted.
Yeah, I am. It does mean a lot to me because. We had a lot of death in the family the last 12 months, and I lost my dad. And a couple of months later, I lost my granddad, then my uncle Paul. I'll probably go with it. When Paul passed away, obviously I got his birds. Paul set me up originally, but my birds was a bit smaller than Paul's. So I've sort of paired Paul's birds with my birds. So it's a bit of an honour to Paul, really, and my granddad, because they was both. My granddad was massive in Wolverhampton and Black Country, Wolverhampton, Bird Club and Wednesbury. He held every role he could hold over 70 years, so it does mean a lot. It does mean a lot.
And I think that's lovely, Adam. And I think when you've got that ongoing aspect of things, I think that's really, really, really nice. I think you've got that sort of. The legacy, if you like, lives on, doesn't it? It lives on.
It's a family affair, really, the Yorkies, so it does mean a lot. So, and now Megan's got the zebras, and Paul's son's just started keeping Yorkies, so we've been keeping it in the family.
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
Well, listen, good to see you. Good to meet you. Well done.
Thank you very
Thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Thank you. You're a good man. Look who we've got. We've got one half of Yorkie Supreme, arguably the better looking half.
Well, I can't see him. He's missing.
He's missing.
He's hiding.
He's missing in action, isn't he, Steve?
Indeed.
He's missing in action. I suspect, knowing Bob, he might be outside having a fag.
More than likely. More than likely.
Well, it's
where you usually find him.
Stood by the door with a ciggy in his hand. Well, it's wonderful to see you, mate. It's 18 months, I think, since I made the trip to Southend-on-Sea to see you and the lovely Hazel.
Seems like yesterday.
It does, doesn't it? I don't know where
I'm still recovering.
Yeah, I don't know where the time's gone. Good year volume-wise with the Yorkies.
Yeah, I mean we had reasonable number.
but very happy with the quality of bird this year.
It is always about the quality, isn't it?
We bred what we needed to breed, and that was important for us. Buff hens particularly, but we really wanted a certain number of birds from certain birds. We only used 2 cockbirds this year. So all the youngsters from those, and it's worked for us, paid off terrifically.
Which
well
is
pleased.
which is brilliant, and that has and whilst the birds, with yourself and Bob, you're looking at the model, you're looking at the birds in your room, and that's for anybody the best way to judge a bird is looking at it in its own environment, isn't it, and seeing what you've got, but. Not had a bad day on the show bench either, Steve, have you? To be fair, you had best at Southern last week, is that right?
Yeah, I was pleased with that. The ticked yellow hen, young hen. We had a few class winners there. We thought our 2 clear buff hens looked really good on the day as well. And likewise, they've done all right here today. We got second best today, which was fine. We're totally happy with the winner today. Really pleased for Steve. Steve's got a really, really good team of birds, so we're really happy to see that. And just happy to be in amongst it, really.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, grace of you, the grace of you. But
we want to see good birds winning. That's a good bird. I gave it best in show 2 weeks ago at the Western and Welsh. It's a nice bird. It was second best last week. So it's consistent and worthy.
Yeah,
so,
which is good. Which is, I guess, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. So what's the future of Yorkie Supreme looking like? It's looking good now, isn't it? Then?
Because we built numbers up to a degree. I mean, we don't keep as many birds as a lot of breeders do, but we're back to 2 bird rooms and a handful of cockbirds. Literally, we'll be down to 6 cockbirds, I think, for next year.
Yeah.
But obviously, they're our best cockbirds. That's how we choose to work it.
Yeah.
We've bred a variegated yellow cockbird that we're absolutely delighted with. It's out the cards today, but that doesn't change our liking of the bird. That's fine. We accept that. It's a bird. When I first saw it in Bob's room this year, I actually said that's the bird that we've been speaking about for so many years to breed. A really nice rounded yellow cockbird, lovely feather, good drive and position, and it was very much like a bird won by Bob in the 90s, won the Southern Yorkshire. And I said to Bob, well, it's only taken 30 more years to breed it, and here we are with it out the cards. So perhaps our judgment isn't as good as we think. But we're delighted with it for breeding.
I think that's called sod's law, Steve, isn't it?
It's fine, we accept that. The bird's changeable, etc. We'll be breeding, hopefully, 7 or 8 hens to that bird.
Yeah.
It's that important to us.
Yeah.
So as long as we can be successful in the breeding room with that, we'll be happy.
Yeah. Superb.
And let's go. We're very happy this season. We're happy with particularly birds we're seeing on the show bench. We actually both think there's an improvement in the Yorkshire this year. And again, the man that's won it today, Steve Edmonds, his birds have improved no end. They're really nice birds, and we're pleased to see it.
Good stuff. And look, loitering in the background, you might be able to see him. Here's the other half of it. Bob's gone camera shy.
He's still studying. Studying where we've gone wrong.
Well, listen, it's always good to see you.
Great to see you.
You're
Matt.
an absolute gent, mate.
Thank you for coming and promoting the Yorkshire Canary show.
As I was saying earlier, it's a stunning bird. I thought that when I came down to see you and Bob. There's just no room in the Canary room anymore, mate.
We'll get you one day.
Yeah, you will, I'm sure. Thanks, mate.
You, Matt.
Cheers. Look, here he is. We've just got a little sneak peek. In fact, we can just see him. We can just see him here. This is Maxie, who does a superb job for you, apparently, Steve.
He does. He pairs all my birds up usually.
Yeah. So well done, Maxie. Best in show. Congratulations, mate.
It's got to be high five.
Oh dear. Oh dearie me. So well done, Steve. Bird behind is yours.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it hasn't really sunk in yet. The years you keep the birds, and I'm a long-term bird keeper. I wasn't much older than this lad when I started with my dad. And my dad used to joke that if we live long enough, we'll win this show. And there you go.
And you have.
Yeah, it's a pity he wanted to see it, but I've had my day. My chance has come, and I've been fortunate enough to just do it, So.
And a real modesty, and you've got 6th best as well with another bird that we can see there. And I understand this bird; it's not its first rodeo. This is it. It's done well on the show bench across the season.
Yes, it seems to have not really been a detriment to it showing it. Travelling it about really, and we think it quite arduous putting them in boxes and carting them all over the country, but it seems to have got better as the season's gone on, ironically, so certain birds can do it.
Yeah, all of that without a frost yet as well.
This is true. Yeah. This is true.
Lovely finish on it. Yeah. Well, listen, many congratulations, well done.
Oh, well, thank you very much indeed.
And it's lovely to meet you, and you, Sunshine, and you keep it up for Pops, okay? You keep pairing his birds. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Look, everyone, I'm going to stand at a distance. When I stand next to him, actually, Russ, you've shrank since Stafford.
I'm an old man, Matt. I'm shrinking every day.
Honest to God, look at him. And I tell you, when I came here, one of the things that we must just say, because Russ has had a great show today, but one of the things, it's been a good week for you, Russ, hasn't it? Because, look, we're in Yorkshire. Russ keeps whippets, and I've bought me flat cap especially, and I'll take that off. You're very, very award-winning, supreme champion, stunning, absolutely beautiful pooch. Mm-hmm. To give her an official title, Veradon Rose, is it?
Another Rose.
Another Rose, yeah.
Yeah.
Stunning bird.
Yeah.
Bird, dog,
whip it.
Dog, whip it. We'll edit that bit out. She's had 9 pups this week, hasn't she, mate?
Yeah, she was carrying 11, and unfortunately we had to have a C-section halfway through, but she's got 9, and she's rearing them, Matt, so I'm absolutely thrilled, and 9's more than enough.
Yeah. 9 is more than enough, and what I've done is I've impressed Russ with my knowledge of the coloration of whippets, haven't I?
Yeah, definitely.
When I described one as a variegated. What colour is it, Russ?
Brindle and white. Yeah, you could describe that as a variegated if it were a bird, Matt.
Yeah, it's a variegated.
Yeah.
It's a variegated. Yeah. But listen, first YCC for you. You've got a bird up on the top bench, Russ. You must be absolutely made up.
I am. I'm thrilled. But to be absolutely honest, Matt, I'm thrilled for Adam. He's had him a long time. He comes from a family of Yorkie breeders, and he's very passionate. And I'm thrilled for him more than anything. And he deserves to win it. Yeah. So congratulations to Adam. Yeah.
Now, see, this man's just grace personified. But we've spoken to Adam, and we're speaking to you now.
Yeah.
So. Tell me, Ross, because this is it's your first season with Yorkies, isn't it? So, and you were saying earlier that that they're not an easy breed to breed. They're a challenge. You've got birds on the bench, and you've got a bird on the top table at the YCC. So you must, in your own right, you must be absolutely delighted.
I'm absolutely thrilled, Matt. It is a special show, as you can see today. Some of these guys have been coming for years and years and years. There's some amazing people to learn from. Just being sat in there earlier, talking to them and picking their brains, and I'm at a stage where I'm still learning. It's a variety of canary that I am absolutely besotted with, and I know that I'll have them for the rest of my life. But it's brilliant to get a bird up there. And yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. But like I say, I'm thrilled for Adam. I really am.
God love him. Do you know what? He is one of the nicest guys in the fancy, this fella, Russ. And them variegated puppies, we'll talk about them over a pint later.
We definitely.
Thanks a lot, mate. Well
Thanks
done.
for coming, Matthew.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I've never heard of this guy. Must be a newcomer. Russell Sykes. This also wins the Edmund Henshaw Salver for best newcomer. Oh, well done. Second best novice. Best novice. Also the Cleveland Award for best bull knocking show. Adam Roper. Let's have a picture of you with an office. Number one, you're like always There we Adam is a champion next year, but he's accepted the challenge. He's going to judge the Winter Show champion classes in January. Well done, Adam. There's someone else we've never heard of here. He's won 7th best, 5th best, 4th best, and 3rd best. Keith Williams.
Right, now listen, this is a catch up in the pub afterwards with a man I should have spoken to on actually in the show to give him the credit he deserves, because on the top table, Keith, you had 4 of the 7.
I did, yeah.
You did have 4 of the 7,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
So it was remiss of me, to be fair. We're in the pub now. We've had.
I was very busy all day.
You were.
Yeah,
No, you actually, Keith, you're being really kind to me now. I think you are being kind. He's such a gentleman's man. You've had a stunning show today. You have been really busy and a stalwart of the YCC. But Keith, to be fair, 4 of the top 7 is no mean feat, is it?
It isn't, no.
It isn't.
No.
Now, you're not... The challenge you got with Yorkshire men is they're very, very modest.
Oh, we are.
They are very, very modest. Now, I'm going to tell everybody out there to get 4 of the top 7 in the champion section of the YCC, which is arguably the premier Yorkshire show in the UK. That's like winning the lottery 4 or 5 times on the spin. So Keith isn't going to say that because he's too modest. I'm going to say it because I'm less modest. But you've had a good day. You've had a really, really good day.
A very good day, yeah.
And Keith, I got a sense today, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's a sort of, you know, it's a new breeze in the YCC. It's been, for me, and I'm not a Yorkie man by any stretch of the imagination yet. I say yet,
good.
Because they're trying to convince me. They probably will by the end of the night, to be fair. But it looked today. It was an incredibly well appointed show, an incredibly well run show, Keith. But some stunning birds there. You must be. I know, you know, Brian talked earlier on film about, you know, the lack of, you know, with Brexit and the lack of the Irish and some of the continental breeders, but you must have been really, really pleased with how the show went today.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And what made it even better for me is that my travelling companion, Steve Edmund, won the best in show.
You see, these guys, honestly, they're properly nice. So they're properly nice. So in different sides of the fancy, you're like, yeah, I've won the show and I'm really, really good. You know, we had Russell earlier on talking about Adam and how Adam had done really well. And now we've got...
Yeah.
With this gentleman here talking about the best in show, not his 4 birds in the top 7, but the best in show bird as well.
Yeah, absolutely marvellous for Steve.
Yeah.
Me and him have travelled the length and breadth of the British Isles, you know, and we've taken some hammerings, you know, we're working up, we've worked our way up there, and now in the UK, you know, we are getting what I think the pair of us deserve.
Yeah.
And we are, you know, we're helping other people as well along the way. You know, it's great, absolutely fantastic.
And that, to be fair, if you were to encapsulate what this hobby is about, this gentleman has just done it in far more eloquent a way than I ever could. So, listen, very well done. It was absolute pleasure today. It was a cracking show. And thanks very much indeed. I think your beer's getting warm, so we should probably go back to it now.
I think we ought to do it, really, yeah. Thank you.